right. The December 5th meeting of the Council on Aging is called to order at 1 o'clock. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Healy. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will now have the roll taken by Francis Spriegel, our staff liaison person.
Happy holidays, everyone. Commissioner Fotheringham.
Here.
Commissioner Grimm.
Present, ho-ho.
Commissioner Healy.
Present.
Commissioner Kopaz.
Here.
Commissioner Loomis.
Feliz Navidad, ho ho.
Commissioner Norkin. Commissioner Norkin.
Here.
Commissioner Shantez. Commissioner Surden is absent, and Commissioner Wing. Thank you.
Thank you, Francine. And we all hope that Jim Searden gets back on his feet again. I talked to him yesterday, and he didn't sound good, but we sure hope he gets back healthy again because he's a vital part of what goes on here, so we want him with us. We'll go on to item 4, which is public comment. This is the time we invite members of the public to state their concerns about senior-related issues in our city, present items for commissioners' consideration, and or make announcements. We've got 2 speakers today, and I'd like to welcome Brenda Birdwell from Senior Concerns. Brenda?
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing today? My name is Brenda Birdwell, and I'm a senior advocate for Senior Concerns. We're a nonprofit here in Thousand Oaks. We serve from West LA County all the way to the northern tip of Ventura County. We have an adult day program. We have care managers. We have a speaker series. We have senior advocates. That's Betty Berry and myself. Betty and I are at the Goebel Senior Center at 1385 East Jans Road. Our telephone number is 805-495-6250, and the Senior Concerns office at Hodenkamp, 401 Hodenkamp, is 805-497-0189. Who knows what Friday is besides Pearl Harbor Day? I'm sure you don't really care because you've already taken care of your Medicare open enrollment, right? So Friday is the very, very, very last day. If you're just now thinking about it, you might want to think about it sooner rather than later. We've actually been past our capacity at the Goebel Center as of Friday, where we served over 85 people, got over 85 people signed up at a one-stop shop. But you can still get help at the Ventura County HICAP office, which is at 805-477-7310. They're there all day today and all day tomorrow. And any other day, we'd be happy to help you with that. I just wanted to make sure that you all knew that Senior Concerns is here in your community. Betty Berry writes a weekly column in the Ventura County Star on Wednesdays, and Andrea Gallagher, our president, has a twice-a-month column, biweekly, I guess you would call that, in the Acorn. So there's always articles about senior events, things that are of interest to seniors. In Betty's column, there's always a section at the end called Happenings that has things about seminars, whatever kinds of senior programs are going on in the community. So the Senior Concerns programs are always in Betty's column. Andrea sometimes mentions them in her column, and we also keep the Senior Concerns website updated. So for that information, you would go to www.seniorconcerns.org. And again, my telephone number is 805-495-6250. And the Senior Concerns Adult Day at Hodenkamp is 805-497-0189. Thank you very much.
Brenda, thank you and all the wonderful folks at Senior Concerns for your work. And I'm sure nobody here has a brain that wouldn't remember that they had to get their Medicare information all done by the end of this week. Yeah, okay, all right. But thank you again, Andrea, also for all the wonderful work you do. We have another speaker, Dr. David Deal.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. It's my mission to help our community get healthy and stay healthy. And every month in our office, we have a free community workshop on exercise, nutrition, maximizing your mind, maximizing nerve flow to your body, and minimizing toxins so you can live to your God-given potential. And I'd like to invite everyone in our community to a workshop we're having this Saturday at 11 o'clock. That's December 8th. Thank you very much. December 8th in our office. It's a power-packed 45-minute workshop, and it's called Bring Sanity to the Season. Okay, this is a wonderful time of year, but we all know what happens. It starts on Thanksgiving, and it ends on New Year's. How do you feel January 2nd usually? Feel a little overweight, a little bloated, stressed out, broke because we eat too much sugar, we spend too much money, we don't do our exercise, and we're stressed out because we've got a lot going on. We want to buy presents, we probably overspend, and that's when we get sick, is when our stress levels go up, we quit exercising, we quit doing the things that make us healthy. The Journal of American Medical Association came out with a study showing that Americans gain an average of 2 to 3 pounds every holiday season. But that same study showed that we don't lose the weight during the year, no matter what our New Year's resolution is. So we want to be preemptive. We want to keep you healthy through the season so you can enjoy your family. And so we've got some easy steps that we're going to go over on Saturday. So I'd like to invite you and your family and your friends to our office. We're at 2900 Townsgate Road, Suite 212 in Westlake Village. It's on the second floor, and we do have an elevator there. And again, it's going to be from 11 to about 11:45. And you're all welcome to come. This will help you increase your energy, help you not get sick over the holidays. And we hope to see you all there. And if you want any more information about what we do in our office and some of the community workshops coming up every month, you can go to www.maxlifechiro.com. That's MAXLIFECHIRO. Thank you.
What was the address again, Dave? And are you going to have any signage out to help direct people, or is it pretty clear where you have to go?
It's called Maximize Life Chiropractic. It's on the second floor. Most people know where Yo's and Frogurt is. Stay away from that during the holiday season. No, just kidding. They're great business, as long as you've exercised. But it's right above there. It's right past Gelson's, right on Townsgate, and it's 2900 Townsgate Road. There's a Taco Bell in that little shopping center there, and it's Suite 212 in Westlake Village. Thanks so much. Oh, and if you're coming, give us a call at 805-496-1000 and let us know how many people are coming. Love to have you. Thank you.
Well, I know that was somewhat of a downer. You know, eat, drink, and be merry, I guess, is not appropriate anymore, huh? But thank you, Dr. Dave. Thanks for joining us. Any other public comments? Again, we'd sure like to have anybody who has issues, concerns about the senior community we have here, as well as publicizing events for seniors. We open the mic to these folks and certainly would wish to have them help us get word out on different activities. All right, if not, we'll move on to item 5. At this time, I would like to introduce our guest speaker. She has been a resident of the Thousand Oaks, Ventura County area for over 20 years. Been involved with the brain fitness, I guess you can call it an industry, for about 5 years. She joined Senior Concerns here locally. You'll hear a lot of that name a lot, Senior Concerns here, about last year to set up programs specifically for the clientele of Senior Concerns. She's working with folks from 50 to 105 years old in this brain fitness work, teaching with humor and interaction the things that individuals can do to help themselves improve, maintain their memory and brain fitness. T-Bar, the stage is yours.
Hello and welcome. It's nice to see you all. My name is T-Bar, as Dave said, and as Francine so beautifully articulated, no, I am not a machine. Sorry. My name, actually, that's an interesting thing that you are bringing up. My name was something that always made me feel sad. My real name is Teresa, spelled with an H. And I had a third grade teacher in front of all those kids call me Theresa. Yeah, that's what they all did, laughed. And so when a family member nicknamed me T, that made me smile. And I thought, I like this rather than feeling sad and teased about my name. So I just realized as I was being introduced how much I like my name T, and how what T does by being called T makes me feel good. And that's one of the very important parts of brain fitness that we're going to talk about today. And in the meantime, I just wanted to tell you that short story. So, what you'll walk away with today. Yes, I've been involved in the brain fitness community for the past 5 years. What my goal is for you to learn how to wake up different areas of your brain, how to exercise those different areas of your brain, and how to strengthen those areas of your brain. Now, in our talk today, we'll have 4 components. We will have the same components when I give my 90-minute classes out in the community, and you'll hear where you can come to listen to some previews that are for free, and also where you can sign up for the 6-week classes at the end of my program. But the design of today is supposed to be enjoyable. Learning about your brain fitness is designed to have fun with, and hopefully we'll all have some fun together. The first part of my component is always giving brain fitness education. So today's first area of brain fitness education will be explaining to you what the 6 areas of the cognitive brain is. And we have a little slide up here that shows you. The first area I'd like to address is your short-term memory. It's up on the upper right-hand side of the screen. Short-term memory is responsible for new information. Short-term memory has to do with remembering somebody's name that you just met, where you put your keys, what time your doctor's appointment is. Fresh information goes into that area. Now, as I'm discussing all 6 areas of the cognitive brain, I'd like for you to envision maybe shoe boxes in your brain, or drawers that have these labels placed on them, because that's basically the best way I have found for you to understand what these 6 areas are. So, the next area, long-term memory. Anything that you've ever learned is held in that long-term memory. Most of us can remember the very first phone number that we remembered, or our first address that we ever remembered. Or, for example, the Pledge of Allegiance that we said at the beginning of our meeting today. We memorize that, and that is held. Cognitive in this word means where information is held and then where information is given. Long-term memory. The next one would be critical thinking. Should I marry him? Should I not marry him? Should I move? Should I not move? Should I stay married to him? Should I not stay married to him? Critical thinking, okay? The next area is visual spatial, how things fit together. For example, this microphone was put together by some fabulously brilliant engineer that knew that this thingamajig went to this thingamajig and this thingamajig went to this thingamajig, and all of a sudden, bippity-boppity-boo, it works, okay? So as I look at that, I see more than a microphone stand. I am actually, if I take some time looking at it and examining it, and by the end of the day, hopefully you'll do this with me, exercising my visual spatial brain by looking at it and saying, that's fitting together rather nicely, and it looks like it won't break. That's all it takes to wake up that part of my brain. And you'll understand that more as we go along. The other areas of the cognitive brain is calculation, having anything to do with numbers. And the last part is language. The last one is language, having anything to do with speaking or reading. Okay, so those are the 6 areas of the cognitive brain. First brain fitness tip of the day I would like to give you. How many of you meet somebody and then say, what was their name again? Come on. Yeah, we all do, okay? So the way that you can stretch your memory is by focusing. Stress and memories do not mix. So if you can just focus on something and let all those other thoughts go away, you've got a chance to remember that person's name. And that would not be focusing on, I can never remember people's names. I want to remember this person's name. What the heck did she say her name was? She just told me I'm no good at this. That's not the kind of focus that I would like to encourage. I would like for you to repeat their name as many times as you can. Hi, Mary, my name's T. Be Mary for a minute. Hi, Mary, my name's T. It's nice to meet you, Mary. Now, as I'm looking at Mary, I'm hooking up her name to her face and something I can make it stick into my, what area of my memory? Short-term memory with a little piece of bubble gum. I want Mary and her pretty face to be stuck together and in my short-term memory inside of that shoebox. Once you understand what I'm talking about, and pretty soon it won't be another foreign language to you, you can start, when you leave here, exercising all 6 areas of your cognitive brain. So, what I want to do is keep saying Mary's name while I'm engaged in a conversation with Mary until I think, Mary, I remember Mary. And that's how my first brain fitness tip of the day will work for you. When you want to remember something, repeat it, okay? Did you ever leave one place and go to the next place to go get something, and by the time you got to the next place, forgot what you were going for? Yeah. Okay. Here's another brain fitness tip. That happens to everybody. Mostly everybody was nodding or saying yes in this room. And from the age of 30 to 50, that's our short-term memory, things start to go away and we start to lose. It used to be thought by science that once we lost it, we'd never get it back. All of a sudden, in the past 10 years, they're telling us, if you use it, you won't lose it. Exactly. And so, this is all that brain fitness is using it so you don't lose it. Remember that man, Jack LaLanne? And we were young, and it was black and white TV, and none of us knew what the heck he was talking about. Now fast forward all this time, and of course we know what he's talking about. How can we exercise our brains if we don't know where they are? What areas where they are? It'd be like saying exercise your arms do this with me, exercise your arms, do this with me, and you not knowing where your arms are. That's why it's important, and I beg you, as if the life of your memory depended on it, if you hear anything today, hear that those 6 areas of the cognitive brain, short-term memory, long-term memory, visual spatial, language, calculation, and oh, they're good. This was a brain fitness test. And critical thinking. Become your best friends. Because if you can't exercise them, if you don't know where they are and what their job is to do. Okay. Last thing. Ever wake up in the middle of the night and say, that's the movie's name. That was the actress's name. And I see a lot of heads nodding all across the room. Why does that happen? It happens because if you were in a conversation with Mary and you were trying to think desperately of that movie that I love so much that I wanted to tell you to go see, and it can't come and it can't come, and I get more upset because this happens all the time now. This happens all the time to me. And then at night, what happens? I'm sleeping. I'm relaxed. And hello, it comes to my memory. And don't take my word for it. Go to your experience. Go to your experience and see if there's any truth in what I'm saying, that stress and memory don't mix. Which leads me to the next topic. Multitasking. Multitasking used to be very vogue, used to be very hip, used to be very chic, used to be very crazy-making. Yeah. You can't possibly do things and have your mind try to be focused on something and be doing another. You can't be cooking dinner, making sure that something doesn't burn, and feeding the dogs, and talking on the phone, and going to answer the doorbell that's ringing, and keep that up. Because, you know, it's too much. It's too much. And so I give a lot of individual suggestions and handouts if you felt like you wanted to come and have me help you doing some handouts that maybe were stimulating your calculation part of your brain, okay? And because many of us, if we're not CPAs and we're not bookkeepers and we don't have a lot of that, it's kind of sort of not our favorite thing to do. But you don't have to go back and learn geometry, but you would be in a good situation if you could stimulate that part of your brain by remembering your 2 times 2 multiplications. And just reviewing those is waking up your brain. On my way over here, in anticipating talking to you all, I was realizing how much I do stimulate my brain on my own now, all the time. All the time. Remember when we were taught that if you bent over, turn it into a stretch? Same thing. If you're in the market, turn your shopping into a brain fitness. As you're comparing this price between this price, which we're all doing now, before we take that product off the shelf, figure out the difference. Instead of, it looks like it's going to be cheaper. Stop. Spend 10, 15, 20 seconds and calculate it in your head. It doesn't matter if you get it correct or not. That's not the point. The point is waking that part of your brain up and exercising it. So on the way over here today, I thought of a situation that happened to me. My darling husband bought me, who also does brain fitness here in the community. He works in the assisted livings, where I've pulled out of the assisted livings and now work with senior concerns and the adult care centers where I get to see all of you. Well, my darling husband decided it was time for me to have, I don't want to say, well, I will say ridiculous personal license plate numbers. Or car, what do you call it? License plate. Oh, no wonder I don't know the name of it. Vanity plates. Okay, it's not my style, okay? So he decided he was going to surprise me, and one day decided he was going to put on my daughter's car vanity plates for me. So as it came time a few years later for the renewal, he said, we could save X amount of dollars by me not taking those plates and redoing them, but getting you new ones. I said, yeah? Cool, let's do that. And so he did. And I was busy and not multitasking, but I was busy that day. And as he got so excited and they came in the mail and he took the stupid old ones off and put the new ones on, and I took and jumped in the car and went off to the market. Yep. I didn't look at the license plate, my brand new license plate. So when I was finished marketing, I walked out, and have you ever tried to find a silver Honda anywhere in Thousand Oaks? I walked up, I walked down, I walked up, I walked down, and I couldn't find my car. I finally ended up finding it because I kept pushing the trunk and waiting for things to fly and beep and all that stuff, and finally it did, and I found the car. But how long would it have been necessary for me just to look at those license plate, the license plate, look at those letters, and at least triggered in 2 or 3 out of the however many there are? That's the bend and stretch and turn it into an exercise that I wanted to give you an example of. So, coming today, I was sitting at a red light, and I was behind somebody, and I was thinking of that story, and I saw the license plate in front of me. And we were at a very long red light. And I started running the numbers, not to memorize this person's license plate. Promise I wasn't stalking this guy. But I was doing it to wake up that part of my brain. I was doing it because it was easy to do, and I knew to do it would be good for me. And so I just started reading the numbers. And that's a simple brain fitness exercise. You don't have to go to geometry, you don't have to go to algebra, but it is fun to go ahead and just say numbers. That wakes up that part of your brain. Okay. Anybody have any questions so far? That's your brain fitness education part of our talk today. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I wasn't doing it. Good question. Rita asked me what was on the license. Oh, my personalized license plate? Or the license plate that I was... Oh, my new one. Can I say it over the air? And Francine says no. I'll tell you later. But I know it now.
I don't understand why reading the numbers on the license plate, what that would have done.
Excellent question. Thank you. She doesn't understand why just reading some numbers would do anything for a brain fitness exercise. Okay, let's take the clock up here, for example. I can walk by the clock and ignore it, and I can walk by the clock and stop and turn that into a brain fitness exercise. The brain fitness exercise has many different available components. But for right now, let's talk about waking up the calculation part of my brain, which has to do with math and numbers. Okay? And so I will look up at that clock and I will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. And so... Thank you. And so I have just created, from walking by a clock and having no wake up to those 6 areas of my cognitive brain, to waking up one area of my cognitive brain and giving myself a brain fitness exercise. Follow? Okay, and we'll talk about waking up parts of your brain more, but that is what brain fitness exercise does. Let me just explain one quick thing. As we get older, we have a tendency to not want to do new things. We have a tendency that if we've always played bingo, to continue playing bingo. We have a tendency, if we were card players, to always play cards. If we like to go to Vegas, we continue going to Vegas. Okay? We don't like to try new things. That is counterproductive for waking up areas of your brain that have been sound asleep, and for some of us, completely snoring for many years. The idea is to stimulate all 6 of those areas, even if you think you don't need calculation. And I'll tell you why. Just like in sports, how they have a second string of people on the sideline getting ready to come in and take over if something happens to somebody who's on the field. The second string has to be at all the practices. The second string knows all of the plays. Sounds like I know what I'm talking about, don't I? I don't. I love that my husband doesn't like sports. Anyway, I have to know a lot about cars, but not sports. And so just as those people that are second string has to know everything, if heaven forbid we get conked on the head, if heaven forbid we have a stroke, if heaven forbid we have an accident and it affects one of the 6 areas of our cognitive brain, we will then have one of the members of the second string team player to come in and help over. Because most of the things that we do are not just involving one area of the cognitive brain. For example, my example of walking by the clock. I was able to wake up the calculation part of my brain. Now watch what I wake up now. And this refresher is good for you to understand all 6 areas that I want you to become best friends with. As I walk by the clock this time, I'm saying, let me think. Time is an interesting thing. Do I want to go to the market after I leave here? Or do I want to have leftovers tonight for dinner? Do I want to go to Trader Joe's? Oops. Do I want to go to Vaughn's? What area am I using to exercise right now? Ooh, you guys are good. Absolutely. Critical thinking. And I could go through each of the 6 of the areas and give you an example right now about how I could creatively do an exercise that's kind of like I'm going to bend over anyway. I'll turn it into an exercise on a physical basis, what I can do with my brain fitness exercise. Okay? So that's why I was reading those numbers, because they needed to be read. Yes, ma'am.
Did I miss the hint?
Nope. Nope. I didn't tell you. I'm sorry. I will tell you now. Thank you. The thing is that when you are going from one room to another, you want to keep repeating yourself. I'm leaving this room to go to my bedroom to go get the sewing box. And then you can sing it. I'm leaving the room to go get my sewing box. La, 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 la. Okay? Anything you can do to have it be entertaining will stick in your brain better. Remember when you had learned the Pledge of Allegiance, and with such pride, most likely all of us ran home and said it until our parents wanted to put earplugs in? We were excited. We were proud of ourselves. We were little. We were in whatever grades we were in. Hooking up emotion and hooking that into trying to remember something works fabulously perfect together. So that is my brain fitness tip, and thank you for reminding me. Yes, sir.
Found it interesting that you brought up the numbers on the license plate. What I love to do is to take the 3 letters and make a sentence out of it.
Good for you.
And the X's, the Z's, and the Y's are tough ones.
Now, this gentleman in the audience says that what he likes to do when you're at stop signs, right? And when he's at stop signs, is to look at the letters that are available in a license plate number in front of him, and go ahead and try to make a sentence out of the 3 letters that are there. Excellent game. A game that turned into a brain fitness exercise. Perfect. And you had a question, didn't you? Lady down at the end in the pretty red, your hand was up? Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Let's move on. Okay. We're going to look at my second component, which is brain fitness exercises. You will be given a brain fitness education handout to take home and a brain fitness exercise to take home if you come to our classes. Brain fitness exercise. And that is on the screen coming up here. And that's one of my favorite brain fitness exercises. What if I did know? What if I did know? How many of you have been involved in getting ready to leave the house and all of a sudden you can't find your keys? Of course. And so the scenario might go something like this. I know I had my keys. I'm ready to walk out the door. I don't know where they are right now. I can't believe I'm doing this again. What am I going to do with myself? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I just find that I am not happy with this situation. Or, how many of you have made an appointment, hung up the phone, didn't write it down yet, and said, when is the appointment for? I hate that I do this. Why did I do this? Okay. There's a lot of examples on your sheet that you have as your handout for your brain fitness exercise. What my suggestion to you is this. Stop. The minute you say to yourself, I can't find my keys, stop. And ask yourself, what if I knew where they were? Because what's happening is that when you say to yourself, I don't know where they were, I'm doing this all the time now, I don't know why, is that you're closing off that information. You cannot access that information from the part of your brain that has it. You put your keys somewhere. You know where they are. But when and it's not positive and negative thinking, it clearly is a pathway to go get the information that you want to get from the part of your brain that has it. So, you're saying, stop. What if I did know where they were? See if it works. Don't just take my word for it, ever. See if it works. What if I did know where it was? Oh, the phone rang. Let me go check and see if they were by the phone. Ah, they're right by the phone. See, because when you ask yourself that question, what if I did know? What if I could remember? You're opening up a gate that lets you access that part of your brain. Okay? Somebody had their hand up. Yes, sir.
Yes. You mentioned positive and negative. My question is, what if you did take it to positive and negative? In the scenario that you mentioned, instead of closing the mind with negative to say, I can remember, I will remember, I know I can remember. Is that something positive?
Well, of course. Positive and negative statements to ourselves are extremely important. What I'm attempting to say to you about this is it's beyond positive and negative thinking. You're interrupting putting the information that you want to get, you're putting it underneath a pile of rocks. So you will most likely not find the answer that you're looking for until you start to shovel away some of those rocks. So I'm talking about a pathway in your brain becoming not available because you have put it under a pile of rocks, versus saying, if I did know, it opens up the gate for you to be able to grab that information from your brain and access it. Of course, we want to be as positive as we can be. Positively. Absolutely. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
A nail right beside the door.
Okay.
With the keys on it at all times.
Those are excellent tools. Rita said, what about just putting your keys in one place all the time? Of course, those are tools that most of us already have incorporated or attempted to incorporate. The examples I'm giving are for you to add to your toolbox. I won't take away your nail trick with your keys on it. I'm just offering something you can add to it. Okay? Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Is another way that I'm going to walk backwards.
Well, okay. Lloyd asks, is another way to put this, I'm going to walk backwards in my mind. I'm going to say to you, no. That is not what this is. Because retracing your steps is something we'll talk about later. And retracing your steps is kind of like the nail on the wall with your keys always going there. That is a tool that you already have. I'm trying to give you brain fitness, physical tools that you will be able to use that might be a little unique to you, okay? The reason that we're saying, what if I did know, is to access the information from your brain. I want to say that again. The reason why we're doing this, what if I did know, is so you could access the information from your brain. Everybody clear? This is all new information. It's going to take you a while to digest it, which is why I give you my phone number and the Senior Concerns website at the end, so that if you have any more questions, call me. Okay? Okay, that's my second component. The third component is DAKIM. D-A-K-I-M. DAKIM is a computerized program that's been around for about 6 years. When we first found out about it, it was very new in the world of brain fitness. We liked it because it's self-adjusted. We liked it because it always has new information, and we use it at Senior Concerns. Lloyd uses it at his facility where my husband goes to work with assisted living, and the residents there have been using it for the full, he's given it a thumbs up, for the full 5 years that we've been providing brain fitness in the community. We go to other assisted livings here locally. And so we like this program. And so it is the third component of my 90-minute class. And we offer DAKIM in 3 different ways through Senior Concerns. We have a one-to-one area of our office that can be used by you to come in and for a very nominal fee spend a 25-minute time and have all of your 6 areas of your cognitive brain be exercised, okay? We offer DAKIM through me going out to the community, as well as at Senior Concerns, where I have now started doing brain fitness education programs, and it's part of our class. The third way is for you to purchase it, and you can do that and put it on your own a computer at home. And so that are the three ways that you can do DACM. And last night on Brian Williams, anybody watch the news last night? Brian Williams had a program about brain fitness. So I went in and watched it, and one of the things that I could not believe, I mean, I almost flew right through that television set all the way to where Brian Williams was sitting to correct him, but decided not to. One of his questions was, does this make you smarter? And the answer was, no, we don't see any evidence that it makes you smarter. Have I even used the word IQ today? No. We're not talking about IQ. In fact, in the DACM game, brain fitness, where we do it, if you don't know the answer, just staring at the question and repeating it over and over. I know I learned those United States and the capitals at one point in my life. What is the capital of the state of Georgia? I don't know. Let me think. But if I did know, and that's the exercise. It doesn't matter if I get it right or not. I'm waking that part of my brain up just like the clock with the numbers. Because had I not been in front of that computer, I would not have had the opportunity to go back and try to wake up my long-term memory with a geography question. Because I guarantee any and every one of us, if we were sitting with a magazine in an office waiting for whatever we're waiting for, and we're seeing different things on a page, and we see a puzzle that we didn't know the answer to, how many of us before today would sit down and try to figure it out anyway, and how many of us would turn the page? Don't have to answer that, just answer that in your own little hearts, because most of us would turn the page, unless you wanted to exercise that part of your brain, and knowing I'm not going to be labeled dummy if I don't know the answer, but I will be labeled doing a brain fitness exercise if I look and see if I can focus on the problem and try to find the solution. Doesn't matter if I can or not. Okay. So I want you to see DACM brain fitness, and we have a little clip, and you can see what we do in this part of our class.
When you think about it, it's obvious. Getting the most out of life depends on keeping your mind sharp and fighting the threat of memory loss. For people over age 60, participating in a comprehensive brain fitness program is not just something that might be nice to do, it's a must. Over 20 years of medical research have shown that consistently exercising your brain can significantly reduce the risk of memory loss and dementia. So maintaining brain health is just like maintaining physical health. It's a matter of use it or lose it. And that's why DACM has created a unique approach to brain fitness designed specifically to meet the needs of boomers and seniors and to motivate them to use it consistently. At the core of DACM's clinically tested program is the integration of hundreds of scientifically based game formats that cross-train the brain in the 6 essential cognitive domains. To optimize each workout, DACM's patent-pending neurologic technology continually self-adjusts the challenge level in each domain and selects from a library of thousands of different brain exercises to match your needs. A major university study showed that users' memory improved in just 20 minutes a day. DACM's scientifically based exercises combine an adult sensibility with high production values for an experience that's as enjoyable as it is effective. Let's take a look.
It's time to play Keep Your Eyes Open. Try to remember as many details as you can. How many people were seen working in the office? What was the male co-worker doing? Time again to brush the sand off your Phoenician decoder and see what mysteries you can uncover. Extra, read all about it.
The largest known lobster in history was snared off of Newfoundland last Thursday.
Good job, but we're not done yet. Word Good wager! Study these words and remember them. Click the words you just saw. Right. Okay, 2 more. Yep, and how about that? You did great. Now we come to the recall portion of today's show. Earlier, you watched a newsflash story. Think back to that story. What was the name of the newspaper that reported the giant lobster catch? I hope you had fun today. Come back tomorrow and we'll do it again with all new activities and exercises. See you then.
If you're over 6,
So that was Dacom. And the game lasts about 25 minutes, and we play it as a group. And I must say 10,000 times during that time, it doesn't matter if you get it right or not, because all of us have learned different things throughout our life. But some of us have had different areas of our brain go to sleep. And so the object of brain fitness is to wake up all 6 areas of your cognitive brain. Okay? He mentioned cross-training, which has to do with the example that I just gave you about how many different ways I could wake up different parts of my brain with the clock. And then pretty soon we are all ventriloquists. Cha-cha, okay. And so that's what cross-training is. I will actually stop the brain fitness portion of our time and ask. They're asking us about geography. What part of our brain are we waking up to get the answer? So that I've empowered you, so that as you walk out of there, you can start producing your own brain fitness exercises. And one of the first ones that so commonly happens is going into parking spaces. Can I park in this parking space where this person next to me went over the white line a little bit too much, and if I try to park in there, will it work? Will it not work? Will they bash my window? Will I not bash my window? Will I have to explain it to my husband? Should I not? Okay, I'm going to back up and find another parking space, okay? So I use 3 different parts of my brain right there. And how many seconds did that take to identify it? And that's the key to brain fitness. Again, how could I exercise my arms if I didn't know where they were? So I spend an awful lot of time making sure that you know what areas of your cognitive brain do what, and so that you can play with them for the rest of your life and your memories life. Okay. Any questions about Dacom? Okay, let's move on then. Laughter is your best medicine. That's my favorite person in the world. I was trained with Norman Cousins in the 80s. And Norman Cousins put laughter therapy on the map. And so anytime I've been involved in projects, I've been able to sneak Norman's work in. And it warms my heart. Yes, sir.
Did he cure his cancer with that?
I don't want to go on record saying he cured his cancer, but he did put what his disease was in remission, and baffled all the UCLA doctors. So yes, I will say that. And so.
Stubbornness, he died of a heart attack.
Yes, which actually was his problem that he had from early on. So bless his heart, Norman Cousins brought us the understanding that you can laugh and magic could happen. So taking that as one of the wonderful things that he left me personally, and that I enjoy giving to people, is the first thing I want to do is to have you look to yourself right now. Think about the last time, all of you, think about the last time that you had a good laugh. Just think about it. Aha, somebody giggled. Yes, of course. And now let's really think about it and give it a good old laugh about it. Ah! You know what? That story about my husband spending all that money on those stupid license plates just gets me going. He's just adorable like that. And so that made me feel good, to just think of that, to give it a good laugh. And my body doesn't know if it's a true laugh or not. It only knows it's a laugh. Okay? So what happens is when you laugh like that, and let me hear your best laugh on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, good. Good, good. How many of you feel better? Of course you do. And he says it's funny. It is funny. And you don't have to laugh at anything. And you don't have to even feel what you're laughing about. Because just the laughing does something to your body chemistry. It gives you those feel-good endorphins. And it does it not only to your body, but it does it to your brain. So remember early on when I said stress and memory do not mix? Well, a fabulous way to counteract stress, and the holidays are coming, and they're mixed blessings, aren't they? And some of our families are even mixed blessings, aren't they? We won't tell anybody, but they are, right? Okay, so what we now know, not only have you picked up some brain fitness exercises, but we've also picked up some ways to get through the holidays. Knowing that stress and memory doesn't mix, knowing that we can counteract stress with laughter, because we just did it. We were laughing at nothing. And we all feel better, okay? So if you're not feeling so great tomorrow when you wake up, think about something that you laughed about and watch what happens, because your brain can access that for you, okay? We have a little laughter is your best medicine, and I made a very short clip to let you all take a look at that and notice how you feel at the end of it. Enjoy the show.
Smile, Tanya, smile. You know there's no
Cheer dancing is allowed.
Smile, Tanya, smile. And right away watch Lady Luck pay you a call. Things are never black as they are painted. Time for you.
Who remembers that song? Of course.
Make life worthwhile. Come on and smile, Tanya, smile.
We know who that is. Yeah. We're done? There was more to that? There was more to that. It ended, huh? And so it ended, and look at you all laughing. I think that's fabulous. Yay! Okay. So you can see that doing things on purpose, stopping, and when you have your heart open, focus on it. So that next time when you're not feeling so great, you'll think of that hummingbird floating around like they float around. How they ever do that, whoever can tell. And you've spent an extra 10 seconds of your life taking and looking at that bird with the flower and letting it in and having it change your physical chemistry, which changes your mental chemistry. Okay? When you have a time that you're not feeling so great, or you're in the doctor's office and he's not saying something so great, the first thing you want to do is think about something that makes you feel good as he's saying what he's saying. But that is a direct train from Norman Cousins, who could, and that's the only time you want to do two things at one time. If somebody's given you some not good news, pay attention to what's happening with your body, and put yourself in a different place so that you have a feel-good endorphin happening. At the end of talking today, it will show you, for more information, where to contact Senior Concerns. We have several different free preview classes that's coming up on a 6-week, 90-minute class. All that information is up there now, and also you will be able to access it through the web. Each time I'm in front of you, I give you a new brain fitness education and a brain fitness exercise. For example, some of the brain fitness education and some of the brain fitness exercises that we've done is learning to improve your long-term areas, turning enjoyable hobbies into brain fitness exercises by learning how to focus on it and do something else, so that it's not just, redundant for yourselves. Laughter yoga is something that we do in the class. Important brain foods, I provide you with that information. Improving your night sleeps. Doodling, and how important that can be for your brain fitness education. Music, how that can stimulate different pathways. Games that you can buy in the stores and know on purpose what you're stimulating. And also what I do is individualize programs for people who want some special needs. There is a difference between cognitive dementia and a brain fitness disease. And so some of the things that you want to think about as far as the differences between those two is people that have thoughts that perhaps they need to be looked at, that might have a disease like Alzheimer's, like Parkinson's. There are memory losses that would disturb their daily life versus memory losses that would be like forgetting names. So that's the difference between those. I know Betty Berry had talked about that in her column, and I wanted to make sure that I gave some information out about that. Difficulty compiling familiar tasks at home or work or leisure. If a person has trouble driving to a familiar location or remembering the rules of a familiar game, that should be discussed with their doctor versus a typical age-related memory challenge, and that would be occasionally needing to use help with the settings of the microwave or finding out how to record a television show. Confusion with times or places. Sometimes people are forgetting where they are or how they got there. That's time to talk to your doctor. And a typical age-related challenge would be getting confused about the day of the week, but figuring out today is Wednesday. Misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace your steps. Retracing steps does trigger you to find where your keys are. That is one way to do it on a physical level. But putting things in unusual places, something that you could go back over and try to track it, but you would never think of finding, the hot packs in the freezer. So hot packs in the freezer, on multiple times, that kind of thing is something to discuss with the doctor, because a typically age-related challenge would be misplacing things like a pair of sunglasses or the remote control, and and learning where to find that, or leading yourself to go find that. So with that, I will say to you, are there any more questions? Have a wonderful brain fitness. Yes, sir.
I didn't know you were all done. I wanted to wait with this until you were finished. Okay. Is there evidence scientifically as to what happens if a person does none of this?
Empirical data, for instance.
Repeating the question, is there found evidence or data if somebody does nothing to do with brain fitness education, what would happen? The answer, truthfully, is I don't have that information and I don't know. The good news is this has just recently come alive in the last 10 years that we can do something about it, and I've got all kinds of information and personal experiences from working in this field for the last 5 years that I could share with you that have changed people's lives, but I don't have a crystal ball to know what would happen if they didn't. So I would say, if it makes sense to you and it seems like something you want to incorporate in your life, go for it. And if it doesn't and you've been doing just fine, oh well, don't. Does that answer your question? I'm not trying to be flip. I'm trying to tell you honestly.
Excellent. Don't misunderstand what I said. This has been wonderful and excellent, and I love your presentation.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
There is evidence that shows it does depend on the genetics. There are some people who are extremely sharp without doing this well into their 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other people who at 60.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think what he was saying is, you know, is there any research saying that if you do this versus don't do it if it works? And so I'm sure that there are people, there's a woman that lives in a local assisted living. She's 106 now, and she was one of our clients. This woman, when I asked her, tell me, what is your secret? And she said, well, I drink a lot of liquor and I never gave up my cigarettes. And I'm like, okay, glad I asked. I mean, go figure it, you know. But I'll tell you that she was extremely sharp. She constantly, at that age, would listen to the Spanish-speaking station so that kept her mind sharp in remembering her Spanish. So she did have other tricks besides cigarettes and alcohol up her sleeve. Yes, ma'am.
T, what do you think of puzzles like Sudoku to keep your mind, if you're particularly interested in those things, to keep your mind active?
I think it's real important, and Sudoku is something that I have in my bag of handouts that if somebody wanted to exercise different areas of the brain that Sudoku satisfied, I give them that. What I think is more important is that it's treated as a brain fitness, not picked up as a recreation, but for you to have an appointment 3 times a week like you would with your walks or some other type of exercise, and that you treat it as a brain fitness and not just as a fun thing to do in the bathtub.
Or Jeopardy, like you say, you don't always know the answer, but sometimes it's in there.
Mm-hmm.
I always say if I could have it on a piece of paper, I would know more. I'm not as quick as the person on the show, but I think that's a real good stimulant. Watch any of those shows.
I agree. I think, though, that, this lovely lady asked about the brain, about the shows like Jeopardy being a brain fitness exercise. And Wheel of Fortune. And so the answer would be, yes, of course those are good. Are those like what we do in the class for 20 minutes straight with the telephones off and you're focusing on it and treating it as important as if the phone rings while I'm doing Jeopardy, I'm not going to answer it. You know, that's the difference between it being a game and being a brain fitness. exercise. And so you can count it as a brain fitness exercise if you treat it as an exercise. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Great. Great. And there are those kind of games, and I think that it's, repeat. There's, on the internet, you can Google it and find some exercises that you can do with jigsaw puzzles. And so, yes, jigsaw puzzles are very good for visual spatial, and visual spatial is in your mind knowing, can I fit through here and not trip and fall and hurt myself? And so people think that it's balance, but it also has to do with my brain being exercised in that area to evaluate. So that's great. And yes, and I think what I want to do is make sure that you know what area that's exercising and that you're not just doing jigsaw puzzles, that all 6 have to be stimulated and woken up. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'll be in the next room and we can all hang out and you can ask me other questions. And I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and appreciate meeting all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, T-Bar. Appreciate you coming here and allowing us to learn a little bit more about ourselves and how we can help ourselves. All right, I'll turn the next portion of the meeting over to Vice Chair Len Loomis.
Thank you, Dave. This is the part where we take a look at various reports that we do. And the reason why I'm stuttering is because Dave introduced me, and now I'm going to introduce me. I'm going to talk a little bit about some safety and security concerns that we have owing to the season. About 50 years ago, I wrote the first counterterrorism plan that I know about for Latin American U.S. Embassy. And that plan and all plans since that I became involved in had a couple of very interesting foundational aspects. One of them is be aware of your surroundings, and it's connected to if something in your surroundings change, be cautious. And the best example I can give of that is I was involved in an incident where on my street we had a number of peddlers that came up and down the street, even people selling lots of coal on the back of mules. One day, no one appeared on the street, at which point I called the security folk for the area. And there was an incident not on my street but close by relating to that. We are now in a season of jollity, happiness, stress, and crime. And it's important for us to be aware of our surroundings as the first part of all of being safe during the December shopping period. The TO Police Department, and we need to give them a lot of credit because we live in a very, very safe community, has come up with a new app that I want to tell you about as a part of that being safe all the time. And if you go to the iPhone App Store, you can get an app. It's free, and you can download it. And what it does is give you crime maps, what's going on in Thousand Oaks. So if you're curious about the safety and security of your neighborhood, it will let you know. It also gives you press releases from the police talking about problems that they're having or problems that the public can help them with. It links you to Crime Stoppers, and they're going to get into the other technology, Android, a little bit later on. All you have to do is search in the iTunes App Store for Ventura County Sheriff's Office, and it's acronym VCSO, Ventura or Sheriff. That's the first thing. The second thing is, as we age, we fall into two traps. One is we fall into a disability trap. We're not as agile and adroit as we once were, no matter how much we wish we would be. Let's go shopping to the mall. The mall in these times is a very, very, very crowded place, and this you know, and I hate to go there, which is primarily when I get all of my Christmas shopping done in 45 minutes flat, wrapped, because I go to the mall at 8 o'clock in the morning. And a part of that is I just don't like the crowds, and that comes from the fact that, again, when I was in Latin America, I had a very expensive pen and pencil set that had been given to me by my mother-in-law, and I loved it. And it was in my breast pocket. And the streets in the city where I lived were very, very crowded with people. And one morning, while out shopping, I ran into a person, as will sometimes happen. We bumped chests. And about 15 minutes later, I realized that my pen and pencil were gone. And if anyone here is like certain members of my family, when they decide that they're going to go shopping, they get laser focused on that attitude. And they know exactly what they're going to go for. And what happens is they tend to forget what is going on around them. When you go into a store, particularly if you go into a store that sells a high-end item, and especially anything that Apple makes, you probably are going to be under surveillance, and it's not friendly surveillance. And that leaves you vulnerable to smash and grab or knock and grab, or somebody following you out to your car and accosting you there and taking your new iPad away from you, or even following you home. Am I telling a scare story? In a sense, yes. Am I telling you a true story? Unfortunately, also yes. So how do you combat that? Well, one thing, if you're going for a high-value item, don't go by yourself. Take somebody with you. This is a good time to have a partner. Have a wing person. That's the first thing to do. The second thing to do is to be aware of anybody that's going into the same part of the parking structure that you're going into, or the parking lot. And this little device here is one of the handiest safety and security devices you've got. And we can use it in a variety of ways. One way is if we've forgotten the license plate number because we haven't done our brain fitness exercises, or we flat have chosen not to pay attention to what our spouse is doing for us, it has a little red gadget on it, and I always poke it in the middle of the night in a dark parking lot when I'm looking to open up my car, and then I can never find out how to repoke it because I can't see it. It's a good thing we don't get police response right away. But if it startles me that bad, it's going to startle somebody else that bad. This little red device, if it goes off, and you will say, well, nobody ever comes. The one thing that a thief doesn't want is any attention at all. And when that puppy goes off, it makes a loud noise. Another thing that you can use it for, of course, if you're so inclined, is to find your car in a crowded parking lot. You hit it. It seems to have a better range than anything else does. And you can also use your opener to get a light on so you can see where your car is. All of those activities let somebody who is watching you know that, wait a minute, this person has all their wits about them and they're trying to be careful. And if I were you, I would adopt the capability of taking my key out and having it always handy in the hand that I use. So if I'm left-handed, it's going to be in my left hand. because it makes a formidable weapon. After you've made a noise, somebody continues to approach you, and you can use it as a self-defense device. You can really scratch somebody with it. I don't want you to go that far, though. Go with somebody, be aware if somebody is following you out, and be aware when you open your car, because your car can become a safe haven for you. Jump in, lock it up, hit the emergency thing, put your key in the, people will leave. Please, 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 dear wife, you also close the door on the garage when you get home. Don't leave the garage door open. Drive in the garage, turn your car off so you don't suffer carbon monoxide poisoning, and put the door down and leave it down. And by the way, on your drive up the cul-de-sac, you've been watching to see if anybody is following you. And you know who belongs on your cul-de-sac. You know who's having sewer problems, again, for the third time this week because a diaper went down and the kids are home for visiting for the holidays. You know, oh my God, look at there. They've had the cable person here 3 times this week. Remind me not to get that cable service. Being aware of your circumstances is worth $1 million worth of security to you. If anything is out of the ordinary, do something to change the equation. Even if it means not getting out of your car, even if it means not opening up your garage door, even if it means going back to some place where other people are and expressing your fear. Hey, I think I've been followed. It's better to be safe than sorry. The last and final thing I want to tell, because health is in the safety and security business, is guys and gals both, of all ages, within the sound of my voice, as you know that something is wrong in your neighborhood, something is out of whack, car doesn't belong there, there's activity that doesn't belong there, as you would report that information to the authorities, call 911 or call the dispatch number. Don't hesitate to do that. Do the same thing with your body. And the reason why I'm saying that is that my brother had a triple bypass yesterday, and he got it only because his wife and I raised Cain with him when he says, it's just a cold. And I'm feeling a tight chest because it's just a cold. You know your body is not operating right. Get it fixed. Don't wait. And remember, ladies out there, your cardiovascular problems express themselves differently from the guys here. Ours maybe are a little bit more forthright. Yours are perhaps a little bit daintier in their outset. But if you feel like something is going wrong, accept that it is and seek attention. Now, with all of that having been said, we need relief just to cheer you up. I think I look good in this, and since I was dressed in an Army uniform for 20 years, on Sunday I'm going to wear this to church, it being season of the year, and Christian, which is dark blues and purples and stuff like that for Advent. I think it'll look beautiful with the shirt I'm going to wear. Thank you. And now next, following me this time, is Commissioner Grimm, who's going to talk a little bit about transportation.
I know we usually go to Nancy for our fashion statement of the month, but now we have another source. Wonderful. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you for showing us your light lavender side. Yes. What I want to talk about is a little bit about this transportation. Last week, the California State Senate Transportation and Housing Committee had a local hearing, actually here in Ventura, to talk about a specific transportation situation with this county. If you read the newspaper account, they made it sound like it was more a merging of the Ventura Commission, VCTC, Ventura Commission Traffic Committee, with a housing committee. And I didn't think that was really the sense of it. What is happening is that our city has gotten larger, and we've gone into a different area of how money is to be apportioned between transit or transportation needs. Envision a large bucket that is available, that's given out by state or Fed funds, and each community has a right to allocate certain monies to each function. And there's been a couple of bills that have been coming through that are trying to adjust to the population of this area and other counties like us. So as I said, it has to do with how you're going to allocate money for the repair versus transit needs based upon if you have unmet transit needs. That is the priority aspect of it. And it's allocated, as I said, by the size and the growth of a population. So this, it wasn't resolved. This is just a hearing. It's the first hearing I've been to like this, and as you can understand, there's a lot of money that's involved, as well as a future, and it requires a lot of people at the state and local levels to be able to understand what the needs are going to be for transportation. And the Council on Aging went on record to commend the efforts of the city staff in accommodating both transit and the road maintenance needs of the Conejo. And it remains to be seen how it's going to be resolved. It's going to have to get a new bill established to try to reconcile how Ventura County will spend their money in the future. Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks very much, David. We are now going to move to item 7, which is liaison reports, and we have a twofer for the first one. Ventura County Area Agency on Aging, and Commissioner Fotheringham is going to begin, and will do a dance with Commissioner Healy.
Yes, good afternoon. Commissioner Healy and I serve as liaisons between the Establishment Council on Aging and the Ventura County Area Agency on Aging. And recently, legislation has been a key issue with the VCAAA. There are a couple aspects of this that Commissioner Healy and I are going to discuss today. I want to talk to you a little bit about the recent activity by the California Senior Legislature, and Commissioner Healy will talk a bit about the county's legislative agenda for senior-related legislation. Many of you may not know that in addition to the California State Legislature that we all know and love, there is a California Senior Legislature that operates in parallel, and its function is to create and promote legislation that's beneficial to senior citizens in California. And each legislator in the California Senior Legislature is asked to come up with an idea for such legislation each year, and then this legislature, the Senior Legislature, meets and reviews each of these ideas and come up with a top 10 list of legislation that they would like to promote at the state level, and then the top 4 ideas that they would like to promote at the federal level. And then they go to work in Sacramento and walk the halls and try to get the legislators that we elected in November to actually write and promote the bills so they can become law. And their success rate with this is actually astonishingly high. But what I'd like to do is to identify a few of the ideas that they've come up with for the current year that they're going to be promoting with our legislators in the near future. Some of my favorites are they're going to ask that all prescription drugs be labeled according to the purpose of the drug, not just the name of the drug and the dosage and so forth, unless the patient or physician would prefer that they didn't do that. And this would help you remember, well, which medication am I taking for my heart, which one am I taking to sort of help me sleep better, and so forth. And the another one is that we've recently lost some funding for our long-term care ombudsman program, and Commissioner Healy has been involved in that program personally, and we'd like to restore that funding, and so part of the proposal is to do that. And a third item on our top 10 list is that our current property tax exemption hasn't been revised for the last 44 years. It's currently set at $7,000, and so there's a proposal to increase this property tax exemption for seniors up to $27,000 from the current $7,000 limit. A couple of my favorites at the federal level and so forth is a reauthorization of the Federal Older Americans Act, which provides a great many benefits that seniors now enjoy. And one of the things that I think is sort of long overdue, ever since I think it was 2006 when the Medicare Part D came into effect, and when it came into effect that Medicare was prohibited from negotiating competitive drug pricing with the drug companies and so forth. The VA is allowed to negotiate that and so forth, but Medicare is not. So this proposal now is to both allow and to require the federal government to negotiate competitive drug prices using the purchasing power it has and so forth to get better prices for the drugs that seniors buy. And with that, I'll turn the floor over to Commissioner Healy.
Thank you, Commissioner Fotheringham. One thing I want to thank you for. Oh, Michael. I'm sorry. One thing I want to thank him for is I was going to read all this from my BlackBerry, but he actually brought pieces of paper, which is a lot better. What I'm going to go over is the County of Ventura's state legislative agenda and platform. There's only 4 of them, so I'm going to try to hit on them. They're all really important. The county this year is supporting a proposal that would increase funding for elder abuse prosecution and prevention programs, expedite reimbursement or restitution to seniors victimized by financial crimes, unfortunately very prevalent, increase the penalties for those convicted of crimes against seniors, expand the list of mandatory reporters of elder abuse to include notary publics, which as an ombudsman I've noticed would be a very important thing. And this is the one that, I mean, it's almost so scary that it hasn't already been in effect, to start to require home care agencies to perform background checks on their employees, contracted employees working in seniors' homes. So the alarming thing about that, a fellow ombudsman, I was telling her about this, and she said, oh, no, that's already a law. I said, no, it's really not. So you do have to exercise a lot of caution right now. Second thing is, one of the other things that Commissioner Fotheringham mentioned was the county is supporting full funding for the long-term care ombudsman program. For anyone who does not know, they provide service to 7,500 Ventura County seniors through a professionally trained staff. Commissioner Grimm's wife, who is here, and I are both members of that volunteer program. We visit people in homes to be advocates for the residents, and about 60% of people in California facilities, assisted living, nursing, have no visitors at all. So they really have no one to advocate for them. Very important to get funding back for that. The county also supports a proposal that would allow dignity in death that includes privacy in nursing home rooms for folks with less than 5 days to live, and additional services for those that are terminally ill. Again, things you would hope were already there, but they're not. The county also supports funding and efforts to move towards more community-based services as opposed to nursing home placements when it can be avoided. That's our state procedures, what we're looking for, platform. This is the one that's going to go to the federal government as their policy issues for the federal agenda. Is the county supports efforts, again, like Commissioner Fotheringham said, that would increase appropriations under the Older American Acts for expanding this act to include funding for adult protective services. Very important today. The county also wants to fully fund the Elder Justice Act and any federal legislation relating to elder abuse that increases the funding provided for elder abuse prevention, assessment, and intervention. as ombudsman, we see frequently people who are in homes, placed in homes, living in a home, and because of financial abuse, they run out of money to be able to stay there, not because they spent their money, because somebody else is doing it. There should be very serious penalties for this stuff. The county also is supporting funding for more community-based services and not so much immediate nursing home payment. The county is hoping to expand Medicare coverage, or hoping the government will, for dental care and hearing and visual aids for seniors. Very, very difficult. Again, the lowest price, to be able to negotiate these prices for drugs as part of the Medicare Part D program, and also supports efforts to increase the allowable tax deduction for mileage incurred by many people who are senior volunteers age 60 and over, up to the federal allowable mileage deduction, because sometimes people want to volunteer, but that extra money for gas, just they can't afford it. So this would increase the money that was allowed for volunteers over 60. All very worthwhile programs, all programs and projects that you really wish were already there, as a matter of fact, as seniors. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Commissioner Fotheringham.
Just a question for either Nick or Nancy. We haven't talked much about the senior legislature. Could you maybe go into maybe a little of the background on this, and even who the folks are and how they got to be legislature, if you know? I mean, I know I'm catching you off guard here, but is there anything that you can
Nick would definitely be more knowledgeable than
okay.
I.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, I don't know the full history of the senior legislature. I know that here in Ventura County, we are represented by 3 individuals, 1 senator and 2 assemblymen. These people are actually elected through our representation in the VCAAA, I think they serve 4-year terms, if I'm not mistaken. They meet formally once a year, as I recall, it's in September that they have their annual meeting. That's when they get together and gel down the larger list of ideas to this top 10 list that they're actually going to carry forward. And then they spend some time after that traveling to Sacramento and walking the halls of the state legislature to try to get people to actually write the bills that put these ideas into effect. So that's sort of the current state of things, more than the history. But
Dave, one of the proposals that we both mentioned, I believe, is there are such things as such people as mandated reporters, doctors, teachers, that if they see something that is wrong, that looks like abuse, they need to tell it. At this point, my understanding is bank tellers have been included into that, but one of the groups of people that deals a lot with seniors, particularly seniors in facilities, are notary publics. And because they come over and sign, and if you have a senior that's not real current with what's going on, they're not sure when somebody brings in a notary to witness them signing something, that person isn't giving some kind of legal authority to it. So the idea of this, which has been very big in Ventura County and with our senior legislative people, is that if these people go into a place and they see a situation that doesn't look just right, they should be obligated, just like a doctor or a nurse, to report that. And it's really helped with the things like the bank tellers. If you see somebody coming in taking out $20,000 and they're not going to do anything with it, why is this happening? The things that you need to report. It's just that little extra layer of protection that the senior legislature really does work towards these things for us.
And our representative here in the East County is June Glassmeyer at present time. She occasionally attends our meetings here, and she can be reached, as are other legislatures in the county, through the county's website. So you can Google VCAAA or go to venturacounty.org and look up the California Senior Legislature and get a hold of them.
Appreciate that elaborative information, Nancy and Nick. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners Fotheringham, Grimm, and Healy. I did a little memory work there to get them in alphabetical order.
fact that you've known us for 4 years.
Well, if I don't say that, now on to item 7B, and Commissioner Shentes, will you go lead us on, Martin?
I just briefly want to remind you all of the RSVP's Holiday Boutique down at the Gobo Senior Center. There you'll find unique handmade gift items, and you can be pretty much guaranteed that if you give someone a gift from this shop, it probably won't get a duplicate from someone else.
Thank you very much, sir. And now finally to the Goble Adult Community Center. Yes, I got it out right, didn't it? I was practicing GACC. Andrea Koval, go ahead, Andrea.
Great, thank you. Well, happy holidays, everybody. I want to start off with just a couple little things. Our whole recreation guide, Canal Recreation Park District Guide, has made it to everybody's homes. And we are celebrating 2013 for a whole year of our 50th anniversary. So make sure you hold on to this because there are some really cool things inside. And then even on the back, if you've participated with Canal Recreation and Park District as a volunteer over the past 50 years, we are actually on February 23rd going to be doing a very fun volunteer luncheon. And you do need to RSVP so we know how much food to give. But it's going to be really fun, and it's a sock hop and drive-in. There's going to be a drive-in movie, entertainment, music, some concerts. It's going to be a very, very fun day. It's going to go from 11 a.m. to 1:30. Also inside is Take the Play Conejo Challenge. So we've worked really hard on this, and it's on the inside of the brochure. You can pull it out. And there's 100 different things that you can do throughout the year through Canal Recreation and Park District at all the different centers, at different parks, at some of our partner organizations. So you can get these marked off, signed off, stickered off, or make your own observation. And once you get to 50, if you're one of the first 5, you get in the next brochure. Woohoo! But you can also, once you get to 50, you can turn it in and get a T-shirt that you met the Play Conejo Challenge. So it's to get everybody out and go do something new. All the centers are on there. Goble's on there, Borchard. There's community-wide events. There's our partner people such as the Chumash Indian Museum, Canal Valley Arts, the Botanic Gardens, Neighborhood for Learning. So there's all sorts of different things in here. So take it out, have some fun, discover something new in the Canal Valley that you haven't done. And then bring it in. You get a really cool T-shirt. So make sure you save these. Also, the contract classes for Goble Center, those are fee-based classes, are in with all the adult classes up front. And then don't forget that Borchard Center does have some 50-plus programming. Some free. They've added pickleball, so make sure if you're into pickleball at all, there's time to play pickleball in the gym. There's a basketball time. And they've got some different things. So make sure we've expanded to go along with our senior adult master plan. So this is a really cool guide to hold on to. And also with that, we have Live Well, Age Well Canal Walks program, which is coming up, and that's through the Health, Wellness, and Recreation Senior Adult Master Plan, kind of a combination of people from that. And this is going to be starting up in January, and you can register for free online, so make sure you get one of these good little things. And we'll be starting up, I think it's January 15th, and we've got several different parks. We will have volunteers, and if you want to volunteer for that, to be a leader for walking and getting out there and using our walking paths around our parks, definitely let Goble Adult Center know. I'll give the phone number at the end, and we'll get you going. So that's going to be a fun new program coming up. And that's also very good. That meets a lot of guidelines for health and wellness and heart and mobility and arthritis. There's just a variety of things that just getting out and starting to walk will do for you. But in the meantime, for December for this month, we've, wow, it's getting, we're really moving quite along. Our December 10th holiday party, which is Monday, is already full with a wait list. And so is our Rotary Club breakfast on December 14th is full with a wait list. So the two big things are pretty much can't attend now unless you're already on the list. But we still have the Meaning of Opera and the fun of it. There's another one coming up on December 17th, and that's pop culture's connection to opera. So that one will be really interesting to see how opera has played a part in our pop culture of yesterday and today. And it always surprises people how much opera and the music that's out there that runs for our everyday life. And we're doing a photo contest at Goebel Center. And it can be, the categories are going to be holidays. So any pictures you take this holiday, landscape, and abstract. And the submissions are due by January 4th. And no larger than 5 by 7, and we're going to have them up in the back lobby, and then they'll be judged, and it's just really fun and different. And again, I talked about the Caneo Walk. So those are basically the things that are taking place. Oh, and then there will be a brain fitness program. And that will be, well, that's actually what that was here today. But T will be doing some brain fitness that's over at Goebel Center and also at Borchert. So make sure you look in the brochures to find those classes because they will be starting up the first part of January. And on for other good stuff, speaking of new classes, we'll still be doing Zumba and our Hatha Yoga and yogas, golf lessons, our brain fitness. And we've added some iPhone and iPad, so much more to learn. So if you've got that iPhone and you still want to know more to do with it, or you get that really cool iPad or iPod for Christmas, and there's more than just the music you can do on those things, bring them in. There'll be a 4-week class for that. And then there's also iPhoto. So if anybody's on a Mac, we've got iPhoto on the Mac made easy, and iWorks. So a lot of people are into that, and we want to make sure that we're getting things going. But if you have an Android tablet or an Android phone, we also have classes for those too. So you can come in and learn more what to do with your tablet and your Android phone. So those are some newer ones that are coming up. And our trips, we've got a Santa Anita and Windmills, Wines, and Wages, and down by the seashore. So that'll be a whale watching. And so those will go on sale next Friday, the 14th of December. And so all those will be in February trips. And so those are going to be taking place. Other than that, don't forget we've got an Antiques Bazaar coming up the end of January, since you guys aren't going to meet in January. And it's one from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Goebel Adult Center. It's $5 admission just to come on in. There will be a lot of vendors there, so you can look at some really cool things, maybe purchase some from the vendors. And then if you've got any collectibles or anything you think is an antique and you would like to have it evaluated, it's just kind of getting a age and a price range on the item that you have. Bring that in, and we get you signed up with whatever evaluator is appropriate for that item. And then that is an extra $5 per item. So you can just come and enjoy for $5, or bring some extra bucks, and you can get several items evaluated. And there will be food there. So if you're there during the lunchtime, there will be some food that you can purchase. So that is pretty much what I have here. Is there any questions on anything? Yes.
Can we register for Caneo Walks today, or do we need to wait till January 15th?
No, you can register online today, free, and the number for that is, let me find our class number, I don't have it memorized, it's 0888.1131. So 0888.1131, and that's at crpd.org. It's not a phone number. That's a class number. It's a class number. So if you can't do it by the internet at www.crpd.org, then you can call us up and we'll go ahead and put you into the system. But if you want to do it yourself and do it online, you can find all our stuff online, like I just said, at www.crpd.org, and you can also go under the Goebel Center on the front page. And our phone number for anything, if you need to give us a jingle, is 805-381-2744. Yes.
I am just super impressed with, it's on. I am super impressed with what you have. But can you just tell me, it's on, what is pickleball? I'm serious. I might want to do that.
It's not the pickle you hang on your tree to find as a tradition. No, pickleball is it's a combination between like playing doubles tennis and badminton. It's a smaller court, and you have paddles that are about like yay, and a certain type of ball, and you generally play doubles, and it moves pretty quick, but it's fun because it's on a much shorter court. And they're actually looking at putting in pickleball courts in Thousand Oaks besides us doing the lines in a gym or outside on a regular tennis court because it is smaller. So, yeah, it's really fun. And they've also got a program at Thousand Oaks Center as well, but we added some extra time over at Borchard Center on the gym to play pickleball. Anything else?
No, just extending the pickleball. No, I've been playing it.
Oh, really?
And it's a lot easier on your knees, but it's very much aerobic. There's no time between points, really. So you're always moving. So you can pretty much condense a good exercise in about
Yes,
an
you
hour.
can.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of tennis players that can't really do the tennis
Thank you.
actually do that. It's not as hard on the knees.
That it is.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you, Andrea. As always, you have a cornucopia, or at least a stocking hung over the fireplace with
There's-
things in it that we all should be stimulated with and get involved in. Thank you.
And
again.
make sure if you haven't done your Medicare changes, do it now because Betty and Brenda are going bananas, as well as, yes. So by the 7th, you've got to be done. So if you call the Goebel Center or into the Advocates on the 10th, on Monday, you're out of luck.
Very good. Thank you again. We're on to item 8 now. This is the last portion of our meeting where commissioners can provide information, comment, or announcements about things that are going on in the community they want us to be ready for. At this time, are there any commissioners have some observations? Should have known. Take it away, Len.
We're playing pickleball up here. Him, me, him, me. This is an early trailer, but the subject is very, very serious. Since I think, if my statistics are right, 1 in 4 of us will, at some time or another in our lifetime, experience cancer. The fight against cancer is on all the time. On the 18th and 19th of May, I said it was advance warning. The Relay for Life will take place in Thousand Oaks at the Canale Creek Park South. Can you please make a note in your PDA or whatever else you're using to keep your time straight for the spring? Spring gets crowded in an awful hurry, and there's a huge need for volunteerism in the city to support this event. The event in its place serves great purpose, and probably a number of us are going to need the services for what they do. So again, think about the Relay for Life in Thousand Oaks. This is the American Cancer Society Relay, and its catchwords are celebrate, remember, and fight back.
Thank you, Len. Commissioner Healy.
I know everybody enjoyed this program today, and we will not be having our January meeting, so I just wanted to remind everybody that in February we're going to have a very excellent speaker named David Solie. It's Solie. He's a published national author. He's written a book on, and his topic will be on how to talk to seniors. Like me, or if you have more seniors in your family that are more senior than me, for example, how to talk to them, or how people should talk to you. And so it's really a good program. I've seen him do it before. And so we'd certainly like to invite all of you to attend. It will be, again, the first Wednesday in February, no January meeting. Andrea.
I forgot something because I forgot to bring the flyer. But I do have flyers at Goebel Center, and you can get them online under the website for the Goebel Adult Center. But the Jance Mall and CRPD, Santa Claus at the Jance Marketplace between 11 and 5. If you take the flyer and you do any picture package, whether it's you and your husband or you and grandkids or anything, $5 with that flyer will then come back to our nutrition lunch program. And that's really important because we need to keep our program going, and there actually are quite a few people over 60 that are on the verge of being hungry or not having adequate nutrition. So trying to help boost our program and keep those that can't always do the donation, that our donations still come in. So you can stop by the center. I'll give you a flyer, or you can go on the website and print it off yourself, and then you can go have a fun picture taken and get a little package and have a memory and help feed a senior at the Goble Center.
That was a good reminder. I'm glad your brain remembered that, even if you didn't have the flyer. Good for you. Good for you. But she's been hanging around us for a while, so.
That's right.
Any other commissioners have any thoughts? I got a couple of things here. Thank you, Len, for running last month's meeting. And now I know that you can be a fashion stand-in, too, when Nancy's not available. Good to hear. Do want to let you folks know that Harry Norkin is our editor and publisher of the Buzz, Senior Buzz. So as folks, you come up with ideas that would affect other seniors, please bring them to Harry's attention or bring them to our attention. We'll include them in the Buzz. I mean, we're trying to find ways to make sure seniors, in addition to what Andrea had for at the Adult Center, there are other things that are going on we'd like you folks to be aware of. On behalf of all the volunteers in the Caneo, I want to thank RSVP under the guidance of Cindy Powers and her staff for the wonderful recognition luncheon she had last week. It was just wonderful to see all the folks there who make this community such a wonderful place to live with their voluntary efforts. And so Cindy, thank you again. And Cindy's the one to contact if you have some interest in volunteering or you want to find something. She'll help you find something that'll grab you and make you want to be a part of the volunteering effort. Because remember, volunteering makes the mind and body good. Okay? In the spirit of the season, buy local. It'll help all of us. There being no other further business at this time before the commission, the Council on Aging meeting is adjourned at, see, I got to count like she did. 1, 2, all right. 2:55 and adjourned to our next date, which will be in February, which I don't have the exact date, but it'll be in February because we're going dark next month. Thanks, guys. Bye now.
Thank you.